All right, so we're going to be working now with some schedules and Revit and seeing how material takeoffs are generated, how you can get that information. And it's one thing to read a drawing, which many people do, but to get more information very quickly, people use BIM, Building Information Modeling, and Revit is one of the main ones. So we're going to continue getting you used to working with it just a little bit. And I'm going to do it real time here because some things take a little while and you have to wait a little bit. So here I am. I'm in my VMware. And I'm going to right click on Revit. It takes a little while to open up sometimes. And then I'm going to click Open. And it does take a while. This is a big program. It's not VMware that's taken a long time. It's not the computer that's taken a long time. This is a big old program, and it takes a while to load up. So, as soon as you come into class, often I can suggest that you open up your VMware and open up whatever programs you're going to use because it takes a while. You can see it's churning away and churning away. And these are not slow computers that we're working on in VMware. They are very good, fast computers. So it'll be just a little bit more, and then we'll get into it and start working. So when the data privacy thing comes up, you just kind of X out of it or click OK. Doesn't really matter. This is just Autodesk asking to do things. So I'll click OK. And then it's going to ask me, oh, there we go. Do you want to get going? Yeah, I just want to get going. I X that out. And I'm going to open one. I've got a file ready for you to work with. Revit is a big, complex one. And we like to get you started slowly. So I'm going to do open one that I've already got. And I'm opening a model or a project. So there we go. And if you go to my computer and come down to this thing called instructor files, I've loaded this onto the VMware computers. So there's me, Schuster. So if you go into there, and you're going to find one that says somewhere down here, Highlands High Design 300. So if you go into there, there's one called Revit Wall System File. And that's actually the one that's going to end up that we're going to use. So if you click on that, and select open, and it takes a while to open also. You see it's working away down here telling you that it's about 8%, 10%, 15%, then things finally pop up. And it should come open with the top sheet available. Okay, there's a whole bunch of sheets in this file. There's a floor plan sheet and a roof plan and an elevation. Those are all blank right now, so you don't have to worry about those. But this bottom thing is called your project viewer. This top one is your properties. If those ever go away, you go to the View tab, go all the way to the right and click User Interface and pick Project Browser or Properties, whichever one happens to be missing. But now what we're going to do is we're going to navigate to Level 1 Floor Plan. So there's my floor plan. Double click, and I double click on the words. Okay, not on this little box over here. I'm going to double click on the words. That box means that it's being used on a sheet. So double click, and look what comes up. It's the outline of a building. So now I can pretend that I am an architect. So let's add walls, doors, and then windows. That's done under the Architecture tab. Wall, and I got to pick what kind of wall. And I think it'll come up with this one. EIFS on 2x4 stud. But if it doesn't, you can look around for it. All these different kinds of walls. And people build their own style of wall. This has tons of information about how the wall is actually constructed. And then I'm going to go over to this pick the lines. Okay, click, and I pick the lines, and it puts it on there. And if yours doesn't look exactly like this, this is okay. What it's doing is it's putting on what's called the core face along the line. If this is something else, it might go to the outside or the inside, but that's okay. Okay, so there we go. We've just done our first thing. We've made walls. Okay, and they really are there. They're 8 foot tall, and they're just sitting there 8 foot tall. If you want to look at them, you can go to your 3D view. There they are. There's the walls. So back to floor plan. Now let's put in some doors. And these are exterior, so there's lots of different doors I can use. I can use interior doors or exterior. I don't really care which of these you use. 30 by 80 is okay, but usually we like something that's 36 wide so a wheelchair can go through. So 36 by 80 tall is a good one. And if I come from the outside, the door opens outside. And if I come from the inside, it opens inward. So I'm going to make it open inward. And then I'll come over here. I'm just letting my mouse move, and then when I get it in place, I left click. There it is. Wherever you get the door, it's okay. Doesn't really matter too much. So now let's go back to the architecture. We put up walls, doors, windows. That comes next. And I've asked for double hungs. I'd like you to put 3 double hung windows on here. And this one is good. You can see there's a whole bunch of them. 38 by 46, 38 by 42, 34s. So I'm going to put in whatever is already selected. And again, I'm going to come, and I'll put them on the front here. And, you know, you can put it 3 foot away or 4 foot away. You can see those. I'll put it 4 feet. And then I'll go to the other end until it says 4 feet. And then I'll try to put one in the middle even. And it says 6 foot 11 3/4 each way. Okay, so there they go. So now I've done the work. Done the work. You can save your file now. File, save as, and it's a project. Save it as a project. And you can either save it on your W drive in here. If you're working on a Horizon client, you can go right to your own computer. So I'm going to go to my computer, and I'm just going to put it on the desktop. Then I'll figure out about where to put it later. So there it is, and as always, we try to get our initials on it. And there we go. So I've just done the work, but I've made a model. Let's see what it tells me. First of all, I have all these nice views of it. It does take a while to save. It's a big file. There we go. So I've got like a bird's eye view, different ones, 3D. I've got some elevation views that I can look at. There we go. So that's kind of cool. And then down here, I've got cover pages, and those things just sort of show up for me. Okay, and I want to show you something. Over here, there's something called the door schedule. So I'm going to zoom in on that. And it says there's 2 exterior doors. It tells it what kind. And that's like that master format number that we were working with before. It's a specification. And so I can go to the binder or the website or the trailer bookshelf and find that number, and it'll tell me all about that door and what the requirements are, who to buy it from, how to hang it, what the materials are. All that kind of stuff comes out of that. And then I've got one also for the windows. So that's really cool. Okay, so as I put stuff in, your schedules appear. Now, of course, that's because I made the schedules for you and they appear. I want to show you one more that doesn't usually show up, but it's super useful. That's your wall schedule. So remember before, when we did our cost estimates, we added up all the lengths of the walls. But we can get a wall schedule and it adds it up, 131 feet and 10 inches. So that's a really cool thing too. So this is a really great file that we've got started. We're going to work with it more in the future, but I want you to be able to see those things and know that they exist. In Revit, in most BIM, as you do a model, it's keeping track of everything so that when you want to know how much of something is being used, doors, walls, windows, there's roofs and air terminal, there's so many things to make schedules of that that we can get all of that information from our Revit model. So there we go. That's what we're looking for.